5-minute video to explain what I've done, and then you can kind of, whenever you have time, you can look at it and say, hey, actually, this makes sense, that doesn't make sense, and then we can have a meeting in person. Okay, this is FnB Veralto Thailand. Okay, what are the priorities? What is the preliminary analysis of the situation? I think that you'll have to, no matter what, kind of show, hey, these are my assumptions, but prove it or show it. The first thing would be to show the results. Okay, saying, hey, these are the results that we have, and this is the reason that I believe we're not making our numbers. Okay, this is going to be quite essential. And when you're looking into that, market sizing, I'll mention afterwards, but I think it's quite important to have some reference on market sizing. I know there's no market share kind of industry data, but just what are the accounts that are addressable, and compare with other segments or other verticals you focus on, and compare what is there. Segmentation, very clear. Comparison of conversion rates, or comparison of number of new accounts per sell rep of FnB versus other parts of Veralto. Okay, value proposition. The way the metric that I can think that can determine that is loss to competition, FnB versus other segments, and kind of saying, hey, we normally lose to competition 40% of accounts here in FnB, while in the other verticals we only lose 20%. Team continuity, it's kind of determining the tenure that these people have had, sales reps or engineers. And marketing effort. This one, we don't have it, and it would be ideal to have a survey that you guys send. The HP, they generally send surveys to certain verticals. Depends on the number of answers that you get. The more periodically you do it, obviously, the more answers you get, and the more statistically relevant it is to compare year against year. But to understand which customers are very aware of the brand, which customers understand and think about the brand when they need to purchase, or which customers actually purchase. This is a good way to determine and see where in the funnel the weakness is the largest. Okay, this is what we would always do in Unilever to start. You need to understand where in the funnel the problem is. And it generally in Genium or any other, even in B2B, even though B2B generally people do it less because it's a little bit less professionalized, the marketing or the understanding of the early funnel, but this makes a very big difference. Then preliminary hypothesis, hey, this is not working out. Then the breakdown of that. Okay, now you see there's a bunch of stuff here and support materials, but the preliminary hypothesis is what we've already talked about. And then when we're focusing, sizing the opportunity, I think absolutely important, very important to have, and this can be very painful, but to have a number of accounts that are truly addressable. You know, I mean, if there's some reason that some company has subsidized products by the government, and then they have to choose that vendor, don't include them, because this is going to be just a killer of motivation for the team. Then segmentation, this is the key thing. And what I want to mention is that this is absolutely essential, because this links to the other variables, because the segmentation would be the key to determine what actions you do in terms of value proposition and price, marketing activities, and relationship building and team. Okay, list of total accounts. And then this is the exercise that's a little bit open-ended, but it's kind of taking all the potential variables that you see can make a customer different from another. And it has to be completely open. It has to be potentially the team in a room with stickers of one color put in. I don't know, they produce water. I'm just saying, a cola versus a water, the determination, maybe organic food versus pet food, maybe large brand versus small brand, whatever, all the variables possible, and just clusterize them by things that are similar. Obviously, there's only 2 dimensions in this kind of clusterization, but it just helps. And then use some other sticky notes with a different color to put examples of companies. Just link it a little bit, saying, oh, okay, so yeah, this makes sense. There's a company that we find this very different because, I don't know, it's the Coca-Cola, and they basically make colas and they have a very specific kind of needs, and this helps. Because what you're trying to do is basically create clusters. And when the variables are qualitative, even though number of size of the business is not a qualitative measure, but you can actually make it qualitative by breaking it down into chunks. And this way you can kind of map out. And the key here would be ideally to create a bubble chart, okay? X-axis, Y-axis, and bubbles and try to map them out. We can have x-axis or y-axis, be it whatever it wants, size of the business, type of product. It's just to trying to create those differentiations and visible. Color of the bubble can represent the industry type, can represent any variable that helps. And this is playing around to create a segmentation that actually you can actually break down and say, oh, wow, we have very different customers and we can attack them differently. Because or actually we've seen that the sizable customers are all in this segment, which are large volume food producers, pet producers. They're all concentrated in one area and all this. Perfect. All the size of the bubbles are big. I didn't put an example just because I want to know if this is something that is interesting. And then we'll play with the value proposition. Okay. Basically, we'll go one by one and break it down. Okay. Same value proposition. What is it that you're going to do? Link to that, marketing activities. It all starts from the segmentation. So before we go into anything else, and then we can go into planning. In the planning part, this is just meaning the changes in the expected outcome. But I would say in the planning part, there would be more by segment, saying, hey, this segment, we're going to attack it this way. We're going to do this. Okay. Then what we're expecting is this change. Okay. Sales segment, customer segment. What is the current situation, and then from there we can go. And I would say that after that there's a review, a revisit of the hypothesis every X amount of time to try to determine if this is successful or not. Okay, tell me if this works, and then give me feedback on what you want changed and what you want in a different way. Okay, perfect. Lovely. Thank you.